हरि बोल। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंसा परिव्रचार्य असुर सत श्री श्रीमद His Divine Grace Abhay Channaravindra Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki, प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधारा श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की, श्री श्री राधा कृष्णा गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की, वृंदावन धाम की, मथुरा धाम की, नवदीप धाम की, श्री जगन्नाथ स्वामी की, यमुना माई की, श्रीमती तुलसी देवी की, सामवेद भक्त वृंद की, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदी. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Gurudev ki jai. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutla Srimati Vir Krishna Goswamiti Namne Namo Hamstanika Shaya Prabhupada Priyayata Shru Viddashdi Nishtapyamti Savaki Vadane. Okay, good morning. Hare Krishna. It's getting warmer. That was a very good kirtan. Thank you all. So, this morning we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, and we are reading from Canto 4, and the chapter is number 12. Chapter 12 is titled Dhruv Maharaj Goes Back to Godhead. So, someone goes back to Godhead. This is a very good chapter for us. So, and the text we are reading from this morning is text 6. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devam Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nasta Prayashu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Okay. Let's see this. Bhajasva bhajani yan grihim Bhajasva bhajani yan grim Abhavaya bhavachidam Yuktam virahitam shaktya Gunamayatma mayaya Bhajasva bhajaniyang grim Abhavaya bhavachidam Yuktam virahitam shaktya Gunamayatma mayaya Bhajasva bhajani yan grim Abhavaya bhavachidam Yuktam virahitam shaktya Gunamayatma mayaya. Bhajasva bhajaniyang grim Abhavaya bhavachidam Yuktam virahitam shaktya गुणामायात्ममायया भजस्वा भजनीयाङ्घ्रिम् अभवाया भवाचिदम् युक्तं विरहितं शक्त्या गुणामयात्ममायया भजस्वा भजनीयाङ्घ्रिम् अभावाया भवाचिदम् युक्तं विराहितं शक्त्या गुणामायात्ममायया भजस्वा भजनीयाङ्घ्रिम् अभावाया भवाचिदम् युक्तं विराहितं शक्त्या गुणामयात्ममायया भजस्वा भजनीयाङ्घ्रिम् अभावाया भवाचिदम् युक्तं विराहितं शक्त्या गुणामायात्ममायया भजस्वा भजनीयाङ्घ्रिम् अभावाया भवाचिदम् युक्तं विराहितं शक्त्या गुणामयात्ममायया भजस्वा भजनीयाङ्घ्रिम् अभवाया भवाचिदम् युक्तं विराहितं शक्त्या गुणामायात्ममायया. Okay. Bhajasva. Engage in devotional service. Bhajaniya. Worthy to be worshipped. Angrim. Unto him whose lotus feet. Abhavaya. For deliverance from material existence. Bhavachidam. Who cuts the knot of material entanglement. Yuktam. Attached. Virahitam. Aloof. Shaktya. To his potency. Guna Maya. Consisting of the modes of material nature. Atma Mayaya. By his inconceivable potency. Okay, so the translation we'll all say together. By his divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay. Engage yourself fully, therefore, in the devotional service of the Lord, for only He can deliver us from this entanglement of material existence. Although the Lord is attached to his material potency, he is aloof from her activities. Everything in this material world is happening by the inconceivable potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so this translation explains material energy And this one actually mentions right here that Krishna is attached to the material. Well, but he's not attached to the activities of the material activities of the material energy. And here, material energy or potency is referred to as she. So there you go, she. So purport: by His Divine Grace, I.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, in continuation of the previous verse, it is specifically mentioned here that Dhruv Maharaj should engage himself in devotional service. Devotional service cannot be rendered to the personal Brahmin feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What does that mean, personal Brahmin feature? It means the Brahma Jyoti that surrounds him. You know, if you see Krishna, there is a photo there, there's some photos there, he's always surrounded by light. There's a effulgence. So we can't really render service to a light. We've got to render service to Krishna personally. So Brahman feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whoever the word bhajasva appears, whenever the word bhajasva appears, meaning engage yourself in devotional service, they must be the servant, service, and the served. The servant, service, and the served. So who's the servant? We are. What's the service? Anything we do, yes. And who is the served? Krishna. Three things. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is served in the mode of activities to please Him is called service. And one who renders such service is called the servant. Another significant feature in this verse is that only the Lord and no one else is to be served. No one else. Does that mean you don't serve your wife or your husband? You have to do your duty. You still have to serve them. There are lots of single people around here, so maybe I should not, only 1, 2, 3, okay. But in any case, maybe your boss, your parents. So you still have to do some duty towards them, but the ultimate servant you are of is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The main focus. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. There is no need to serve the demigod. There is no need to serve the demigod, who are just like the hands and legs of the Supreme Lord. When the Supreme Lord is served, his hands and legs, or the hands and legs of the Supreme Lord are automatically served. There is no need for separate service. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Tesham aham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat. My apologies. Sorry about that, I didn't put my phone on silent, which is what we should do all the time. Okay, so, where were we? This means that the Lord, in order to show specific favor to the devotee, directs the devotee from within in such a way that ultimately he is delivered from entanglement of material existence. So there you go. If you ever had a question about, well, how did this devotee surpass this material attachment? How did this devotee overcome this material desire? Because you will notice that sometimes in the Hare Krishna movement, there are some devotees who are super rich. Have you ever noticed that? And you think, well, how come they are still devotees? There are other people in the world who are super rich, many, and they are not devotees. They're busy doing material things. I will read to you what material energy is so you get a better idea, a little bit in depth. So the question arises, how come somebody who is rich is still spiritual? How did they do it? The question, big question, how did they do it? How come they have so much money and they're using it for Krishna? They're using it to, distribute prasadam, open up centers, build temples. There's a very great devotee of ours in Mayapur Dham. He is building the Mayapur TOVP. He is very rich. How did he surpass? What's the secret? It's right here in this sentence. It says here that in order to show specific favor to the devotee, he directs the devotee from within in such a way that ultimately he is delivered from from entanglement of material existence. So that's how it's done internally. So how does he do it internally? He's a remote control. What's the remote control within us? How does he do it internally? Any ideas? Correct. Super soul. He's the super soul. You are the soul, and he is the super soul within it. So you've got two souls residing within you. One is you. The other one is the super soul. Super soul is Lord Krishna, Paramatma. If you want to know what it's like, I once asked my Guru Maharaj, what does the super soul? How does they do they? How is it that the super soul is in there? What does it look like? Because our internal has got blood and flesh and all sorts of, nasty, smelly things inside us if you open up a body. So how does the super soul go in there and stay there? So they're very minute in size, first of all, microscopic, you can't see. The answer was it's like a hologram. It's like a reflection, but has all the potency of the Paramatma, of the Lord. So it's there. So the Paramatma drives this person from within. And that's why one person has overcome material existence and the other hasn't, which means that the super soul didn't drive the other one. Why? Because they didn't have a desire to serve the Lord. Ultimately, somebody asked Srila Prabhupada once, how does one become a devotee? If you want to become a devotee, and Prabhupada was on his way out, I think he was about to sit in the car or something, so he didn't really have time to describe in length, and like you give in a class. So he only said one word. Guess what that word was? Desire. Correct. Desire. That's the only thing. How does one become a super devotee? Desire. Yeah, they wanted to. That means that if there are hurdles, somebody is stopping you, or somebody is blaspheming you, or somebody is, or you just have disability of some kind of problems, and you can't. But because your desire is there, you will surpass all. How you will surpass? The super soul is within you, will give you the strength. So you can climb mountains and things like that. So this sentence is, I find personally, is quite revealing, and it's quite enlightening how one achieves what they achieve. They achieve through internal, from within. They are driven from within. And that is called empowerment. You are empowered to do whatever it is you are doing. So this morning, if you are making garlands over there, you are empowered from within to do it. And if I'm sitting here giving a class, also empowered hopefully to give a class. I hope it's going well. So it is empowerment from within. It is not ours. It's been given. That's the trick. So what should you do? You should develop the desire. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to make a garland. So, whatever your desire is. And then Krishna will empower you. You actually chant and ask. So that's how it is done. So no one but the Supreme Lord can help the living entity to be delivered from the entanglement of this material world. The material energy is a manifestation of one of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's variety of potencies. He's got many potencies. Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate. This material energy is one of Lord's potencies, as much as heat and light are potencies of fire. The material energy is not different from the Supreme Godhead, but at the same time, he has nothing to do with the material energy. It is very contradictory. So, how will we explain that? Material energy is part of the Lord, but it is still not, he is not attached to it. So it is described as like the sun and the sunlight. The sun is there and the sunlight comes out of it, but the sun is not really, has nothing much to do with the sun rays that comes out of it. However, the sun and the sunlight is the same. Something like that. That was one of the explanations. This is in the Bhagavad Gita. So the material energy is not different from Supreme Godhead, but at the same time, he has nothing to do with the material energy. The living entity who is the marginal energy, that's you. What are you? You are the marginal energy. So the living entity who is the marginal energy is entrapped by the material energy on the basis of his desire to load it over the material world. What does that mean? Is that a good thing? That you are entangled in material energy? It's not a good thing. Because then that means that you are not highly spiritualized yet. So the question is then, if you are a devotee, this is a question I'm putting to you. If you are a devotee, this is material energy, right? Material world. So what are you? Are you spiritual yet, or are you still material at the on your way to be spiritual? You are marginal. That's what the answer is. But that's correct. So you are both. So it depends on what your desire is right now. You are both. So if you are busy, offering arati to Krishna, you are spiritual, the spiritual energy. But if you are away having a party in the pub or something like that, not serving Krishna, then obviously you are in the material side of things. So you are swinging between both. That's what it is. So marginal energy. The Lord is aloof from this, but when the same living entity engages himself in devotional service of the Lord, then the devotees of the Lord, then he becomes attached to this service. Is anyone here present who is attached to his service or her service? Attached to his or her devotional service? Anyone not attached? Oh. Yeah, attached means they really love their service and they don't want to miss it. And everyone's head should be up. I was surprised. My hand is up. So this my question is, are you attached to your devotional service, whatever devotional service you do? So someone is attached to general devotional service, that's fine. But my question was, are you attached to your devotional service? The answer should be yes. Yes. Otherwise, how can you serve Krishna? So does that mean only one particular service? You are sweeping the floors and you just want to do that. No other service. Actually, any service for Krishna is a service. So if you are sweeping the floors today and somebody says, can you sweep not the floors but the car park? You'll say yes. Or say, okay, no sweeping today, washing the pots. Yes. But the service is there. You are serving Krishna. And that's the greatest service to be attached to, because sometimes there are people who are attached to work. Nobody likes work. Who likes to work? Not me. It's not fun. But sweeping the floor for Krishna is fun. If I told my mom that, I like sweeping Krishna's floors, she'd be, well, you don't sweep at home, or you don't like it. When I was growing up, didn't like that. But how come you just want to run when you have to sweep Krishna's floors in the temple? That's the difference. There's a certain enjoyment, anand, enjoyment. You feel happy just sweeping Krishna's floors. Just transcendental, spiritual. So you are on the spiritual platform. So it's telling us here, what is it telling us? That when the Lord is aloof from this, but when the same living entity engages himself in the devotional service of the Lord, then he becomes attached to this service. So you've got to do some service to become attached to it. You can't sit there and say, oh, actually, you can sit there and chant Hare Krishna. Did you know chanting Hare Krishna is a devotional service? Yeah, it is. Yes, I will read to you the 9 processes of bhakti, devotional services. Some of us are already here who have preached on that, so they know what it is all about. So, this situation is called yuktam. For devotees, the Lord is present even in the material energy. For the devotees, the Lord is present even in the material energy. This is the inconceivable potency of the Lord. Material energy acts in the 3 modes of material qualities, which produces the action and reaction of the material existence. Those who are not devotees become involved in such activities, whereas devotees who are dovetailed within the Supreme Personality of Godhead are freed from such action and reaction of the material energy. The Lord is therefore described herewith as Bhavachidam, one who can give deliverance from the entanglement of material existence. So, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, it was a long purport and we talked in between. So, I will read to you, because I always want to do it in order, the 9 processes of bhakti, or the 9 ways you can be performing your devotional service. Remember I said chanting is a process. Yes. So there are 9. First one is called hearing, which is known as Shravanam. And the Acharya for that was Maharaj Parikshit, the person who was hearing this Srimad Bhagavatam. It was spoken. So hearing, that's devotional service. So while you're sitting here, you are performing devotional service. So that is, if you love to hear the Bhagavatam and you are attached to it, that's a good thing. It's attachment to devotional service, hearing. Some of us just love to hear kirtans. Someone singing and you just hear. And many times you'll find me sitting here listening to kirtans. That's one of my attachments, I think, personally. So second one is chanting, kirtanam. Chanting is the second one. Kirtanam, it's Sukadev Goswami spoken, he speaks the Bhagavatam to Maharaj Parikshit, the one who speaks. So right now I'm speaking the Bhagavatam, so that would be classified as Kirtanam, chanting, speaking. So here, speak. That's second. Third is remembering, in your mind, remembering. And that one is Vishnu Smaranam. So you don't remember, oh, my shoelaces were not tied yesterday. No, say, oh, I remember Krishna did this yesterday, and he was breaking the butter pots, and we did the Damodar Ashtakam, and we sang this, and he was tied by the ropes, and the Mataji who gave the class, Parmeshwari Harini Devi Dasi, you must remember her name, newly initiated, she said, Krishna's ropes, the reason one of them was because he wasn't tied, right? They were trying to tie him up. So this is remembering Krishna. Yashoda Mai was tying him up, but could not tie him up, 2 fingers short all the time. Got all the ropes, went all around Vrindavan, went to the gopis, give us ropes, because just seeing that rope is not long enough. So then somebody went to Radharani's house and asked her, can I please have rope from your house? She said, yeah, sure. Finally, some service. And she got the ribbon from her hair, golden ribbon, and gave it. Here you go, tie him up. So this is from yesterday's story. And so Yashoda Mai, added the ribbon to it, and that's when he was fully tied, because Radharani's potency was there. Remembering stories, pastimes. Though that was something I'd never heard, but those pastimes where she collated from different acharyas. And then she gave a class yesterday. So that was something I didn't know. That the rope, you can see Krishna is there on the altar. Yashoda Mai is tying him up. Part of that rope is Radharani's ribbon, golden ribbon. And that's love and devotional service attached. So that's remembering. You remember Krishna's pastimes. You remember the class someone gave. And you get inspired by it. Like, my spiritual master sometimes gives a class and I sit there and I go, oh, yeah, the penny just dropped, the light just goes on. That makes sense. So you remember. And fourth one is serving the Lord's lotus feet. Fourth one, serving the Lord's lotus feet. It's called Pada Sevanam. Now the Acharya for that is Lakshmi, goddess of fortune. She is always engaged in serving the lotus feet of the Lord. Always. So if you have a desire according to that, pray to Lakshmi Devi. Don't pray to her for money. You can do that. But she serves at the lotus feet of the Lord. She will inspire you. Fifth one is what everyone loves to do and everyone inspires to do. Everyone who is not initiated, I can bet you will say, when I get initiated, I'm going to do this. It's called deity worship. Everyone wants to get on the altar, I'm sure. Because everyone is attracted to the deity. Everyone that I've ever heard say, when I get initiated, my aim is to get there. Yeah, deity worship. Archanam, that's Maharaj Prithu, and he used all of his royal possessions in order to offer them pure devotional service to the Lord. Sixth one is also something we always do. Sixth one. It starts with a P. What's that? P-R-A. Prayers, yes. Vandanam, correct. Vandanam. Prayer. We do that all the time. We pray. Please, Krishna, give me permanent residence as soon as possible. Please, Krishna. something. Prayer. But that's actually asking him for something. Prayers, a good prayer is one that glorifies Krishna. Just like in Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma recites the entire Brahma Samhita in praise of Krishna. Those are offering prayers to Krishna in glorification of Krishna. The Brahma Samhita is something that is a wonderful prayer. If you want to know how an exalted person or exalted personality prays to Krishna, if you don't know how to pray, read the Brahma Samhita. Brahma Samhita. Brahma, B-R-A-H-M-A. Brahma Samhita, S-A-M-I-T-A. You Google it and it has got beautiful prayers about how Krishna is worshipped in the form of Govinda. And you speak Govinda's name over and over. And many people have actually memorized it. It's very long. But there are people who memorized the Brahma Samhita. Anyone here who knows the full Brahma Samhita? I endeavored. I went three quarters years ago. I don't know about now. Memory must have failed. I didn't fully. I couldn't. But yeah, people have done that. It is really nice. Govinda Madi Purusham Tamham Bhajami is the base bottom in every verse. So that's prayer, Vandanam. And 7, executing orders. This is good. Executing orders. I command you to do this. Dasyam. And you do everything that Krishna asks. And that's Hanuman, the Acharya, Hanuman. He's the intimate servant of Ramachandra, executed all of Ramachandra's orders despite all kinds of activities, despite all kinds of difficulties. So, yeah, they might be, you might have actually come across this in your life, that you did something despite a difficulty. I mean to say that there's somebody who can't walk, right? And yesterday, that's a perfect example actually. I'll give you a perfect example of one of our own devotees. Her name is Tulsi Manjari. Not many of you will know because she's Syamapriya Mataji, but you might know her. She's Syamapriya Mataji disciple. She used to come here. She originally from Karachi, Pakistan. And from there, she got initiated. It's a trying circumstances. Then she went through, she's a relative of our devotees, Radha Vinod Prabhu, Bharat Shrestha Prabhu, Jyotirmai Mataji, so that part of. So she's in age, quite aged, and she went through, she's aged, quite old, but she went through surgeries and things, and she couldn't come to the temple. But even in her old age, like this is 10 years back, she would come and she would dance like a gopi, and you'll see an old lady with gray hair, she'll be dancing in the kirtan with all the young girls. That's how, enthused she was. I saw her yesterday. She came. She was all hunched, hair's all gray, after the surgery, with a stick, walking stick. She hardly can walk, but she did it despite difficulty. The thing is, we are trying to discuss is executing orders despite all kinds of difficulties. So she did it through, she was hospitalized, under care. She made it. For her, making it to the temple would have been extremely painful. She was all hunched and everything. So difficulties. But you were able to, and that was, what was she doing? She just came and she offered her prayers. Devotional service. That's devotional service. So last one is, no, not last, number 8. It's serving as a friend. Sakyam. Arjun was the acharya for that. Arjun is one of the third of the Pandavas. Arjun was so close to Krishna that the Lord offered himself to be his chariot driver and serve Arjun in his brother in various ways. Actually, it is this Mataji Tulsi Manjari who used to tell me, who was here yesterday. She used to tell me, Krishna is my Sarathi all the time. Sarathi is the chariot driver. Just like Arjun's chariot driver in the Mahabharata war, Krishna was doing, driving. He was this driver. Tulsi Manjari Mataji also used to say, Krishna is my Sarathi. She never married, by the way. Ever. Never, ever. To this day, old age. She always used to, and I spent a couple of days, I don't know why I'm glorifying this Mataji, all out of the blue, all of a sudden. She's not part of the class, but maybe Krishna wants me to. I spent some time with her in Melbourne when we went to Syamapriya Mataji Vyasa Puja. And would you believe, in her sleep she's calling Vasudeva, because I was in the same room. Anybody calls Krishna all night? Not me. I'm dead. I don't know. I was the whole night, Vasudev, 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 all night. So that's, you have to reach that platform, never married. So these are some very nice devotees. Devotional service, serving as a friend. That's number 8. Number 9, complete surrender. Complete surrender. Now that's the ultimate one. Complete surrender. The Acharya, that's known as Atma Nivedanam. And the Acharya for that is Bali Maharaj. He gave Sri Vamandev his entire kingdom, his possessions, as well as his own body. I believe we just went through that, right? In the Srimad Bhagavatam, the pastimes. Did we? Oh, Bali Maharaj. I might have given the class, and used that story. So yes, he gave all his possessions, everything he had, everything. That's complete surrender. And his spiritual master was against it. Don't give him. Despite that, he gave everything. So that's 9 processes of devotional service. Why we covered that is because, time's up almost, is because Krishna said so. Simple as that. How and why? Because if you practice any one of those 9, you can get away from the entanglement of this material energy. In other words, you can break away. So if you think you are just sitting there chanting and no one's given you any service, guess what? You have service. You are chanting. And if you are hearing, you have service. That's devotional service. But it's always good to ask in the temple, can I, be of service? So you start off by doing something. Like, for me, example, when I started off, I was in uni, coming to the Hare Krishna temple, didn't have any guru, didn't have any knowledge, wasn't chanting properly, just became vegetarian. They said, well, do something, wash the dishes or something. I did it. And then after that, I was vegetarian, actually. And then I made laddus. for the Sunday feast. And then from there you do this, and then finally you are doing this and something else. So you eventually you actually progress in your service, devotional service. Throughout it, obviously, I was chanting. So even when I was a meat eater, I was chanting. Everybody has some past and background. I wasn't born in a vegetarian family, but this is not just me. There's many examples. They come from meat eating background, or they come from even intoxication background, and they transcend that just by chanting. It purifies you, and then not only that, your association. Yesterday, Mataji, I asked her, how was it that you grew up in a, growing up in a Krishna conscious family? Because she's a youth leader. And she said, because my parents were devotees. And, the devotion was when she was in a teenage stage. She was a teenager. So, younger days of her life, childhood was not Krishna conscious. So it's a progress. So what does that mean? Association. You need to be, so even if your parents are not, devotees, your friends should be. If your parents don't like you to have Krishna conscious friends, what do? What if your parents hate you to hang out with Krishna conscious people? Yeah, you get smart about it. That's a good answer. You do it secretly. That's smart. Yeah. There was one little Muslim girl. She was, her father was Muslim, and her mother was a devotee's daughter. So she said, I'm going to, when she was 4 or 5, she said, no, if dad's family stops me from saying Hare Krishna in a childish voice, I'm saying it in my mind. So for that age, so you find a trick. That's it. Where there's a will, there's a way. So you do something about it. That's the desire you have, strong desire. Krishna will help you along the way. So yeah, you will have difficulties. In the beginning, everyone has challenges to become a devotee, to be honest. You ask anyone who's sitting here, they'll tell you, well, this was my problem. That was my challenge. That was my obstacle. And finally they did it. So finally she was able to get initiated, Parameshwari Mataji, and she had a very good year, marriage, initiation, full-time job, a change, all in the same year, 3-bedroom house in the same year, all in 1 year she did it, wow, and a youth leader. So that's quite good. So she said her secret was that she had good association. She was associated with the right people. So when what's that verse we recite every morning about Vaishnavas? Vancha kalpa, Tarabhyascha, Sindhu Evacha, Patitanam Pavnebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha. What does that mean? Yes, they are just like desire fulfilling trees. They can fulfill the desires of all conditional souls. They're an ocean of mercy. That's what it means. So, does that mean if you're a devotee, you are a desire fulfilling tree? Yes. Yes. We have some Prabhus here who distribute books. That's a desire fulfilling tree book. You take that book, you read it, you become a devotee, transformed, instant transformation through the hands of a devotee. So we all have certain powers we don't know. So if you are distributing books and you are having a hard day, don't be discouraged. You've already helped so many people. And there's so many people waiting in line to be helped. So any questions? Yes. Yes. Oh, so the question is, what if you get angry in your dream? That's an interesting one. So in your dream, you better pray that you remember Krishna while you are angry. Because then you can say, Krishna, I am angry. Suppose you wake up and you say, oh my gosh, I was angry in my dream. Well, first thing is you've got to be practical. My spiritual master always tells us to be practical. In other words, we have to tell, oh, it's a silly dream. Calm down. How does Lord Shiva deal with anger? Lord Shiva is easily angered, very easily angered. He's got a third eye. It opens, it burns, it can actually destroy the whole universe. Definitely. So we can get annihilated just by his third eye. So how does he control his anger? The anger that he controls is by understanding that everything belongs to Krishna anyway. So what is he getting angry about? He's not territorial over anything. Does anything belong to you? No. It was given to you. It's not your property. So if it's anger over something, an object, you say, well, what was it? What was I angry about? I never had it in the first place. It never belongs to me. If somebody angers you, whoa, because we all have our issues. If somebody angers me, I would have a hard time trying to control it. Controlling anger is very hard. It's an austerity. So how do you do it? Well, there are many ways. Some people say count to 10, breathe, or you go to your support person. For many, a support person can be a parent. For a child, definitely mother. If they get angry, they throw tantrums, they go and hold the mother's skirt. So you have a support person. But ultimately, your support person is supposed to be Krishna. So, but Krishna in many forms. You can just open up a book and read a pastime about Krishna and you calm down instantly. Or you listen to your favorite kirtan. That's also Krishna. You are like jamming and suddenly the anger goes. Or you play your instrument. Or you go to the ocean and you say, of all the bodies of water, I am the sea, I'm the ocean. You find out a way to control anger. Mind you, that is a very good question because all of us have anger control issues. Because devotee is supposed to be equipoised. So calming down is really hard. So another trick, because the specific question was anger in your dream. So my spiritual master always says to us, you read pastimes, the Krishna book before you sleep. So what happens is in your conscious, you will take Krishna with you to sleep. For example, if he's, what is he doing? He's dancing with the gopis. So hopefully when you sleep, you see the full moon there, Yamuna there, and lots of gopis and lots of Krishnas, they're dancing. What a beautiful dream that would be. So, you could try that. A lot of us, they read Bhagavad Gita before they sleep. Or simply listen to some kirtan before you sleep. Although for some of us, kirtan really makes us hyperactive and there's no chance of sleeping after that. So anger issue is a very real thing, actually. So anger in your dream, some people don't get it, some people do. I remember getting anger in my dream as a child, and my reflex action was kick, and I kicked the wall. That was very painful way to wake up. My leg hit the wall. So yeah, anger is there for sure. But if you do something spiritual before you sleep, that's a good idea. Does this answer your question? Yeah? Twist. Yes? Yes. Oh. Yes. Wow. That's a psychological question, I'd say. The question is that if you see a different religion in your dream and you see a preacher, now that opens a lot of issues. I'm not an expert, I'm not a psychologist. I just simply read the Srimad Bhagavatam, but from my experience, from what I know, sometimes we dream about things in our past life. So we've come from a different religion. And sometimes we dream it. I'm not saying that's what's happened, but it's possible. Or if it's simply, that you are entering a religion which you are trying to understand. It could be psychological. And so it is foreign to you at the moment. But once you get used to it, then you will know that it's not foreign. So it's not a foreign religion anymore, it's your religion. But it's good to see a preacher, a pastor. At least you are not seeing demons and snakes. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. And don't spend too much energy on dreams. Unless you see Krishna himself. I've seen dreams of Krishna. And I remember them so specifically. So those are some dreams to help you remember Krishna. You know, the third one, or was it the fourth one? Remembering Krishna all the time. So you remember, and you remember the dreams of Krishna. Does that work? Yeah. Oh, more questions. Okay. So the question is that if someone from your family asks you to pray to Krishna because they know you are practicing devotional service, they know you are coming to the temple, and they have some material desires or they have some difficulties, they ask you to pray, and you come and you pray, but they don't get their material desires fulfilled, or they don't get their whatever they were praying for fulfilled, and you might get into trouble. So is it okay to do that? So the bottom answer in one word is yes, you can pray. Because praying for someone, offering prayers, is part of devotional service. So the answer is yes. Now the second part to that answer is Krishna fulfills spiritual desires, he doesn't always fulfill material desires. In other words, he will give what's good for you, for your spiritual progress, so that you can go back to Godhead one day, so you can be a good devotee one day. He will not give you something that will have the opposite effect, that will stop you from becoming a devotee, that will push you back into material further entanglement. So he might not answer those prayers. So when you get chastised, so you went to Krishna, you prayed, didn't work. So you get a big scolding from your parents because I asked for that Ferrari, I didn't get it. So you have to beg forgiveness from your parents and say, well, I'm not that advanced yet. I'm not, I can pray to Krishna, but it is up to Krishna. The way we pray to Krishna, by the way, is please, answer our prayers if it is your desire to do so. So if your parents don't get that Ferrari, say, probably Krishna's desire, blame it on Krishna. So it was not his desire. A lot of devotees do this. They point fingers at each other. It was your karma. You didn't get it. Bad karma. We torture each other like that. You suffered because of your bad karma. Recently, no, I shouldn't say that, but say that a sannyasi had an injury or something, and they blame the poor disciples. It was your bad karma that made the guru, suffer from this particular. Please. First of all, the spiritual master takes on the karma deliberately, and secondly, he is chanting, and he is protected 24/7. It's an accident. Don't make other people feel guilty for taking initiation from a spiritual master, and the spiritual master gets sick and they blame the poor devotees who've taken initiation, who are really brand new and are sitting there thinking, what did we do? We caused our spiritual master to go in pain and suffering, our fault. Shouldn't do that. Should not lay that kind of guilt trip on anyone. We should try to help them spiritually progress. So, did I answer the question? Yes. But praying, yes, definitely. Please pray for anyone. Anyone who is sick, pray for them. It will also help you. Lord won't even help that person, but it will help you get closer to Krishna. And it will help purify you because you are developing compassion within you. In order to specifically and purely and sincerely pray for someone, what is that quality you need? To truly pray for someone, there's one quality: compassion. So it will bring out your compassion and manifest compassion within you. Thank you for listening. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam Puran ki Jai.